The recent elections around the world have presented significant challenges and shifts in the political landscape that should cause concern for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. These global electoral outcomes reflect broader trends in public opinion, highlighting a growing discontent with populist and right-wing politics. The following report will examine various international elections, dissecting their results and implications, to demonstrate why these developments should be a cause for fear for Trump and the Republican Party. Shifts in European politics. Germany, a turn towards stability. Germany's recent federal election marked the end of Angela Merkel's long tenure as chancellor and brought about a shift towards centrist and progressive politics. The Social Democratic Party, led by Olaf Scholz, emerged victorious, signaling a preference for stability and continuity. The election results indicated a rejection of far-right parties like the Alternative for Germany, which saw a decline in their vote share. This shift away from populist rhetoric towards centrist policies in one of Europe's largest economies could indicate a broader European trend. For Trump and the Republican Party, this trend suggests that voters are increasingly valuing pragmatic and stable governance over divisive and populist approaches, which have been hallmarks of Trump's political style. France resurgence of the left. France's regional elections revealed a surprising resurgence of left-wing parties and a notable underperformance by Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally. The left's ability to consolidate power and the failure of the far right to make significant inroads may suggest a declining appetite for extreme right-wing policies among European electorates. For Trump, who has often aligned himself with right-wing European leaders like Le Pen, this shift could signify waning support for similar populist movements globally. The Republican Party may need to reconsider its strategy if it hopes to maintain relevance and avoid the fate of its far-right counterparts in Europe. Italy, rejecting extremism. In Italy, municipal elections in major cities like Rome and Milan resulted in significant victories for center-left candidates. The far-right league, led by Matteo Salvini, and the populist Five Star Movement both suffered setbacks. This outcome further exemplifies a European trend towards rejecting extremism and embracing more moderate political solutions. The implications for Trump and the Republican Party are clear. The global rise of right-wing populism may be reversing. If this trend continues, it could undermine the political strategies that have been employed by Trump and his allies, necessitating a shift towards more moderate and inclusive policies to regain voter trust. Latin America's swing to the left. Chile progressive movements gain momentum. Chile's presidential election saw the victory of Gabriel Boric, a young left-wing candidate who campaigned on promises of social justice, environmental protection, and economic reform. Boric's win marks a significant shift from the conservative policies of his predecessor, Sebastián Piñera. This trend towards progressive politics in Latin America should alarm Trump and the Republican Party, as it reflects a growing discontent with right-wing governance. The electorate's demand for social and economic reforms may signal a broader rejection of conservative ideologies, potentially influencing political dynamics in the United States. Peru, a socialist upsurge. Peru's presidential election resulted in the victory of Pedro Castillo, a socialist candidate who advocated for radical economic and social reforms. Castillo's success was largely driven by widespread dissatisfaction with the existing political establishment and economic inequality. For Trump and the Republican Party, Castillo's win highlights the potential appeal of socialist and progressive platforms in addressing economic grievances. This could pose a challenge to the Republican Party's traditional economic policies, which often favor deregulation and tax cuts for the wealthy. The rise of socialism in Latin America underscores the need for the Republican Party to address economic disparities more effectively. Brazil, Bolsonaro's decline. Brazil's upcoming presidential election is expected to be a referendum on the presidency of Jair Bolsonaro, a close ally of Trump. Bolsonaro's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, environmental policies, and economic management have led to widespread discontent. Polls indicate that former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, a leftist leader, is favored to win. Bolsonaro's declining popularity and potential electoral defeat could serve as a warning sign for Trump and the Republican Party. The erosion of support for right-wing populist leaders in Latin America suggests that similar political movements in the United States may face significant challenges if they fail to address public concerns effectively. Asia Democratic Resurgence. South Korea, progressives on the rise. South Korea's presidential election saw the victory of Moon Jae-in's Democratic Party, which is focused on issues such as income inequality, corruption, and housing affordability. This result reflects a broader regional trend towards progressive and reformist policies. For Trump and the Republican Party, the success of progressive parties in Asia indicates a shift in voter priorities towards addressing social and economic inequalities. This trend could challenge the Republican Party's platform, which has often prioritized tax cuts and deregulation over comprehensive social reforms. Japan moderates gain ground. In Japan, the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, maintained power in recent elections, but with a reduced majority and increased representation for opposition parties, including the Constitutional Democratic Party of Japan, CDP. The election results highlight a desire for moderation and stability rather than radical change. The implications for Trump and the Republican Party are twofold. First, the appetite for extreme right-wing policies may be diminishing globally. Second, there is a growing demand for pragmatic and inclusive governance. The Republican Party may need to adapt by promoting more centrist and unifying policies to resonate with a broader electorate. Africa Democratic Strengthening. Zambia Democratic Revival. Zambia's presidential election resulted in a historic victory for Hakainde Hichilema, an opposition leader who campaigned on promises of economic reform, anti-corruption measures, and democratic governance. Hichilema's win signifies a rejection of authoritarianism and a demand for accountable leadership. For Trump and the Republican Party, Zambia's election underscores the global desire for democratic principles and transparent governance. This trend challenges the populist and authoritarian inclinations seen in some right-wing movements, suggesting that voters worldwide are prioritizing democratic values. Nigeria, youth-driven change. In Nigeria, regional elections demonstrated the increasing influence of young voters and progressive candidates. The rise of youth-led political movements and the demand for substantial reforms reflect a broader shift towards more inclusive and responsive governance. This development should be a cause for concern for Trump and the Republican Party, as it indicates a global trend towards youth-driven political change. The Republican Party may need to engage more effectively with younger voters and address their concerns to remain relevant in the evolving political landscape. The recent elections around the world reveal significant shifts in voter preferences and political dynamics that should cause fear for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. The global trend towards rejecting right-wing populism, embracing progressive policies, and demanding democratic governance challenges the political strategies that have been employed by Trump and his allies. To remain relevant and competitive, the Republican Party may need to adapt by addressing economic and social inequalities, promoting democratic values, and engaging with younger and more diverse electorates. These global electoral outcomes serve as a warning sign, highlighting the need for a strategic recalibration to align with the evolving priorities of voters worldwide. If you found this analysis insightful and want to stay updated on the latest political trends around the world, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth content.